Hello, everybody. My name is Kenton DeYoung, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Dylan Fairman.
Yeah.
And this is a Patreon-exclusive episode of Unsolved Canadian Mysteries.
Mysteries. I tried to change it up, Kenton. It didn't work.
I liked it, though.
Mysteries. This Friday, come and listen to some unsolved mysteries. Oh, I guess it's on Monday. Yeah. This Monday, listen close to the chilling and mind-tingling experience of unsolved Canadian mysteries with your host, Kenton, and your other host, Dylan.
We got some comments on our last podcast.
Oh, wow. I can't believe you just went from a good note to all of a sudden a bad note, Kenton.
No. They were saying how attractive you were, so they're going to love that.
Great.
Yeah, they're going to love that.
They're probably haggard as shit right now, but
no, is that guy single? I'm like, no, man. He's taking man.
Yeah, no, she's upstairs painting right now. She's painting.
Very lucky lady.
A picture of me.
No,
she's a wonderful artist.
Mm-hmm.
Artist. No, she's painting a fucked up bunny. It looked like up there, but it's her experiment painting today. Anyway, how are you, Kenton?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Dandy.
A couple things changed since our last episode.
Yes.
I shaved my head.
Yes.
Yep.
It's quite dashing, Kenton.
No.
I do like you with long hair, but
yes.
I honestly quite honestly don't think that what you have right now is that bad of a look for you. I'm just saying, especially if you had you could go full Joe Rogan and just grow a beard and then just buzz the head if you really wanted to.
No, so for those who don't know, because it's also very exclusive, only our best followers are hearing this one.
They're gonna get the tea. You're spilling the tea.
Yeah. I'm sure other people watching these shorts will be like, what's this? But we're cutting this out just for our core crew.
Ooh.
I had hair transplant surgery, so they shaved off my entire head and put a new hairs on top. So this is a month later. It was a month yesterday. So
cool.
For those few people who are going to see this, this is a month of growth.
Question, it has to be your hair?
I don't think it has to be my own hair, but what it is, when men get older, there's a hormone in their body called DHT.
Yeah.
And DHT causes the hair on the top to fall out and kind of move the hair down the head.
Okay.
But the hair on the sides and back of your head are immune to DHT.
Cool.
So that's why they cut the hair out the back of the head and put it on top.
Easy. So
that as your DHT decreases as you get older, the hair on top is immune to it and it remains.
I just feel like we missed an opportunity. We could have put curly hair on your head. We could have just cut it off my head and put it on there. That'd be pretty funny. Not gonna lie. Then you have different kinds of hair.
I'm afraid it's gonna come back gray and brown, because apparently my girlfriend says the sides are already gray on the side of my head. I don't know.
You're getting a little salt.
We'll see.
But nah, not really.
See how it grows back. Might look totally different.
You just haven't been scared hard enough.
I guess not.
We gotta spook you.
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll see. Tonight's story is crazy, man.
Wow.
Okay, so
if you're saying that,
it's nuts. So I like to pretend I know local history.
Okay.
Right. And I like to say, I'm the guy. If you want to come talk about history, I'm the guy to talk to, right?
Right.
And I do cemetery tours, and I tell people with some of the local crime in the city, historical crime. So when someone brought this story to me a few weeks ago, I said, what are you talking about?
You never even heard it before?
Never even heard of it. And then I sat down and started looking at newspaper accounts, and I said, oh my God, what is this? And then I found there was podcasts about it, and I'm like, oh, somehow this is a well-known story that I've never heard of. So on my last cemetery tour, it was about famous women of Regina. That was the whole theme of the tour. And this was kind of the closing story, part of it.
Are you still doing that one, or that one's done now?
It's all for all of August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I asked my audience, have any of you guys ever heard of this story? And they all said, no, we've never heard of this. And I'm thinking, why is this not a well-known story? You got some stories everyone knows about. You got the one of Colin Thatcher killing his wife, apparently.
I met him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you've said this before, but anyway, keep going. How did you meet him?
I had a job that...
Oh, yeah. You had to go to his farm.
Yeah, so I had to go to his farm to do my job, and then I'm just like walking there, and then he was... I probably said this story on here before, but anyway, I walked up there and did my job for him, and then he was like, yeah, I'm kind of notorious around these parts. I don't know if you know that. And then I was like, yeah, I heard of you before. And then he was like, well, Bill, you're a pretty good guy. Can I offer you some steaks? Because he has like cattle there. That's what he does. It's a pretty nice place. He's like, can I offer you some steaks? And I was like, well, I'm going to be in the heat for probably another 6 hours, so I'm going to have to say no on the steaks. But thank you so much, Mr. Thatcher.
Oh, geez, Bill, you're a good guy.
Yeah, I know. He said, he must have heard Bill from Dylan. Like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, Bill. Oh, man. So funny.
So everyone knows the Colin Thatcher story, right? Or I hope so. Maybe we'll talk about it, but there's not really that much of a mystery. Then there's the Rosie Schmidt one, where she gets shot outside of the legislative building. That's a pretty well-known crime. They posted a big expo on it a couple years ago. I'm trying to think of other big ones. The 2 officers, one in the riot and one, the other one in 33. So, like, when I heard this story, I was like, this is a huge story.
Yeah, that probably hurt your ego a little bit, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it did. So I'm like, hey, next time I see Dylan, we are doing this episode talking about the story because it's got to get known. Michael Todor, he immigrated here from Romania in 1880, and he moved to a farm just outside of the city around 1912, and then eventually he moved into Regina. He owned an apartment building in the city, and they used that money from the rent people paid through some lawyers to pay for his mortgage or his bills, that kind of thing. So unlike myself, who I have to sit down every time an email comes in and pay my bills, he had lawyers do it for him. Michael, he liked to drink, and when he drank a lot, and he always says things that he probably shouldn't say out loud.
Most Canadians.
He said that he had about $40,000 stashed in his mattress, and that he had a gun and a bat in case anyone tried to take it from him.
Oh, good. Just small talk.
Today, that $40,000 would be like $400,000. So a lot of money to just kind of hide under your mattress.
Yeah.
There's better places to put it. And you don't really want to go around telling people that.
Yeah. Here's my security system. Check it out. It's a gun.
He lived on 1846 McKay Street, in an area of the city that used to be called the Bohung area. Bohung means like Bohemian Hungarian, because it's Eastern European immigrants. Okay.
Yeah, Hungarian clubs over there.
Yeah. Oh, you know the area. Okay, great. Yeah. He was. This area is pretty beat up and very poor. A lot of poverty, a lot of alcoholics, people drinking. It's very common, right? And one day in 1953, he used to rent out some of the rooms in his house to some of the other people who lived in the area who needed a place to stay. And he rented out one of the rooms to a woman named Elizabeth LaFleche.
Elizabeth or Elizabeth?
Elizabeth
LaFleche.
But she's better known as her nickname, Tootsie LaFleche.
Okay, see, I thought you were going to say Lizzie or Liz, but no, it goes to Tootsie.
Tootsie.
All right.
And this is when someone said to me, have you ever heard of Tootsie LaFleche? I said, excuse me, what did you say to me? Because none of those words are words you usually hear, right?
Do you want to fight? Is that what you just said?
Excuse me? What? So Tootsie moved in with Michael Todor. And for a while there, people came and went through the house, and Tootsie and Michael formed a relationship. But it didn't take very long until Tootsie started spending more time with somebody else living in the house. His name was Jacob Dick. Jacob Dick had a recent run-in with the law. He had spent some time in prison, came out, but he was a pretty big guy. But his big downfall, I would say, is that he only had one leg.
Fuck, he's a pirate.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Saskatchewan pirate.
Dude.
Michael's living in the house, Tootsie living in the house, and Jacob Dick has also recently moved into the house. This is now Christmas Day, 1953. Michael Todor goes to a family friend's house, and they spend Christmas together. He has a great time, but he knows at home stuff isn't going very well. Since Tootsie's moved in, she started having a lot more people come by to buy alcohol through her. She was once in prison for bootlegging, once for fraud, and people were also dropping by to spend some time with Tootsie. Tootsie, maybe I should describe this woman for our audience. She's a larger woman. They said that you could get favors from her for less than a price of a bottle of beer.
Hey.
So, all right. Somebody, I think the newspaper referred to her as a creature of the lowest order who was in a constant state of heat.
Wow. Interesting. She's an alley cat.
Yeah. And someone said that because of her history, she has the mind of a 12-year-old girl trapped in an adult's body.
No, that sucks.
So Tootsie has a few problems.
That's sad.
Other issues of hers are that she's, including to Michael Todor, has been married 5 times. One of the marriages were annulled because she was 13 years old. The other 3 were divorced. She spent 7 years in a mental hospital. Now, the podcast I listened to about this said it was a local mental hospital. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, local mental hospital in Regina? Maybe Weyburn? I'm thinking that's probably the closest one.
Yeah, what's local to? Yeah, like at what point is what's local?
Yeah, maybe like the one up by, was it Labret? That old tuberculosis place.
Yeah.
Maybe that one.
Fort Capel one.
Yeah, maybe we had something else here. But it's a local. I'm like, do you have a name? Because I want to know. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking probably Weyburn because that's kind of the big one. But who knows?
Hey, look, you didn't know about this. Maybe you didn't know about that either.
Yeah,
Kenton.
it could be a whole new mental hospital in the city I didn't know about.
You're slacking.
My whole like mirage of me knowing what I was talking about was shattered when I heard the story. I was like, what?
Pardon me.
Tootsie has a colorful history. Mm-hmm. And as she moved into Michael Todor's house, she started inviting more people to come in and drink and spend time there and spend time with her and that kind of thing. So Michael was at this Christmas party and said, I have to get back home. There's a bunch of drunken men and women in my house, and I have to make sure the place stays okay. So he goes home that day. But before he leaves, he says to the people at the party, because they're Eastern European, right? And they're celebrating Christmas right now on the 25th of December. He says, my place, January 7th, Orthodox Christmas, be there. We're going to have roasted duck.
Be there or be square.
I was like, yeah, duck at Todor's house. Let's go. Right?
Roasted duck.
Couple weeks go by. Now it's January 7th. People start showing up, knock on the door. Tootsie answers, says, no, Michael's not here. I said, what do you mean Michael's not here? He's like, oh, he's not here. He's not here. I said, well, supper. Oh, supper's canceled. Michael's not here, right? So people come by, get turned away. One person even brings their Christmas tree. They haul it down the street to the party and says, sorry, Michael's not here. You have to take your tree back home. So as time is going by, more and more people are dropping by saying, like, this is Mike months now. Hey, is Michael by? He says, no, Michael's not here. So Tootsie starts saying, Michael, he had to go out of town to go to a construction site because he's somewhat involved in construction.
She ate him. Sorry,
it's okay. It's okay. Or she would say, he went back to Ontario to spend time with his daughter, and he died in a seniors hospital. And she would tell all these stories.
Different
stories all the time, right?
Oh, the sweet flesh.
So meanwhile, Jacob Dick has moved into the house with her, and so has another gentleman whose name I don't recall, but don't think it's really too relevant to the story. And they're staying there through the winter into the summer, and they complain that there's this smell in the house.
Yep.
And Tootsie says, it's nothing, maybe something died under the house. Don't worry about it, right?
Yeah, maybe something died under the house after I killed it.
But she has, there's a room of the house that was Michael Todor's room, and she's locked that door. She tells everyone, you're not allowed to go in there. And as one of the guests kind of checks at the door one day, they realize there's a bunch of rags stuffed under the door and around the cracks of the door. And eventually, in the spring, I believe it was, Jacob, Dick, and the other gentleman move out. And then a little while later, I think it was in August, Tootsie moves out as well. So the house is now empty.
So, was she renting?
Well, she moved in.
Yeah.
To live with Todor.
Right.
And Todor's gone missing, so she just moved out.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, she has no ties to the house.
Yeah, and the house is paid for because of the other apartment building and the lawyers.
Right.
So it's always paid for. He doesn't have to be around for it to be paid for, right? That's a good system he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the neighbor notices one day that the house the door to the house is unlocked, and contacts the police, and they drop by, do a quick sweep of the property. Says, yeah, the door is unlocked, but Michael Todor isn't around, so let's lock the door, and he can just get the key to unlock the door when he ever gets back. He just put like a padlock on the door.
So did they explore the whole house?
Just outside the property.
Okay.
So the house is locked, and time goes by, and eventually Michael Todor's daughter out in Ontario, who he was supposedly visiting, calls a friend in Regina. Says, hey, I haven't heard from my dad in like a year. Have you seen him or heard anything? I thought he was out with you. And she said, nope, definitely not. I've sent him letters and stuff, but he hasn't written back. And back then, he didn't have a phone, so she couldn't call him.
Right.
So the friend contacts the police, and the police go to the house, and they unlock the door that they had locked a little while earlier, a few months earlier, and they walk inside, and they can just smell this awful smell.
They know instantly what's going on as soon as they walk in.
So they walk through the house, and they get to the door that has the cloths, the rags stuck under the door and around the cracks, and that door is locked. So they bust down that door, and they walk into a bedroom, and on the bed is the body of Michael Todor.
Yeah.
Decomposing.
Yeah.
Maggots all over his body.
Delicious.
His head is bludgeoned and covered in blood. There's blood on the floor, blood on the walls. All around his room are Christmas decorations with like an inch of dust on them.
Yeah.
And on the floor are cans and cans of insecticide, all empty and covered in dust. Because this area, Bohung, is such a messed up, troubled area, they start arresting anybody they can think of that might be related to this, right? And none of them are really working out. But they do know that Tootsie LaFleche and Jacob Dick lived in this house at a time when so did Michael Todor.
Right.
So they put out like a nationwide alert. Like, if you know where these people are, we're looking for them, we're trying to find them. And apparently they were up in northern Saskatchewan, came down to Regina and said, hey, sorry, it took us a couple days to get here. We were up north. Oh, what's going on? Like, why are you looking for us?
Wasn't there another guy, though, that stayed at the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so were they looking for him, too? Or they just didn't have his name?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He wasn't too relevant to the story, but he was just there.
I'm just saying from the police point of view.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, okay, we need all the people that stay in the house,
Yeah.
but they just went for those two.
Well, there were a lot of people who passed through the house because Tootsie was doing the bootlegging operations through there, and
yeah, that makes sense.
it was also like a rental unit. People were coming in and out, but it was about 16-month period between when he disappeared and when they found him. So it was a smaller window, and for some of the time, the place was locked as well.
Right.
So they tell them that Michael Todor has been murdered, and they're looking for any explanation of what happened. And Jacob Dick says, I don't know anything about this. Like, I'm shocked to hear this. And they asked Tootsie, and he says, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what happened. So Tootsie said it was a guy named Mike Hordichuk, a guy in Regina known for his drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they found him easily. He's still in Regina, and they hauled him into the police station. And he said, no, that wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I wasn't even around that part of the city. I was on the opposite side of the city that day getting drunk. Like the whole week at Christmas of 1953 to 54. Like I was getting drunk.
Yeah.
And he said,
That's what I do.
Not even close. But he said, like, I haven't drank in years because of this, right? So they began asking around, asking witnesses, and his alibi held up. He was across the city. So they went back to Tootsie, said, it wasn't Michael Hordichuk. What else do you know, right? And Tootsie says, oh, I gave you the wrong name.
Oh.
It wasn't Michael Hordichuk. It was Jacob Dick, the guy she was with.
Yeah.
Right. It was this guy. The story she gives the police is that it was New Year's, and she and Michael Todor were playing cards.
Yeah.
Michael got tired. He went to bed. Tootsie was very drunk, and she had to go for a walk, which she did a lot when she was drunk.
Great.
And she went for a walk around the neighborhood, and she ran into
a pole.
into Jacob Dick. And Jacob Dick is outside for a walk too, which is interesting because he has one leg, right? He has like
for a hop,
like a peg leg or a artificial leg, right? But you don't usually go for a walk
unless you're walking your parrot.
Yes, you don't go for a walk in Saskatchewan in the winter, in the snow, if you have a fake leg.
Yeah,
you can, I guess, but like you're.
Yeah, we're not putting you down if you do that.
No, go ahead, but it's not a common activity, right?
Especially, you could do something else.
Yeah, especially on New Year's, you could just stay home, but oh well. So Tootsie runs into Jacob and says, oh, hey, let's go back to my place, and have some drinks and have a good time. He says, okay. So they go back to the Todor residence, and apparently they knock on the window and wake up Michael Todor, and he lets them in. And the three of them are sitting around drinking some homemade wine that's apparently a very high alcohol content, and they get really, really drunk. And then, apparently, Dick and Todor get an argument. And they go take the argument into Todor's room, and Tootsie hears Todor yelling, why? And then there's a bang, like a struggle sound, and then some thump. So Tootsie walks in and sees Michael Todor on the bed, head bashed in, and nearby is Jacob Dick with a hammer. And he says to her, if you scream or call the cops, you're going to be next. So together, they then close the door, lock the door, and put the regs under the door. And together, they're responsible for spraying the insecticide and keeping the bugs away. So it sounds like Jacob Dick did it. And Tootsie gets a bit of a deal with the courts. She's going to, what's the term I'm looking for here? Make a statement against him, right? Obviously, she was somewhat involved. She didn't call the police, so she wouldn't be, an accessory to the murder. Tootsie makes a deal with the courts that she's going to make the statement against Jacob Dick and conclude this case. So as they are getting ready to begin the court proceedings, one of the 12 jurors has a heart attack and dies.
Oh my God.
Shoot, right? So they have to find a new 12 jurors. So they kind of put the trial on hold. They get 12 new jurors. And as they're about to get started, once the jurors find out what this case is about, one of them says that he is against capital punishment and he won't participate in this trial.
Interesting.
Shoot, we have to find another 12. So they finally get the 12 jurors together and they have the testimony of Tootsie. So they begin the trial. And Tootsie says, I lied in my testimony about what happened to Michael Todor, and that she comes out about her history of being in a mental asylum, being alcoholic. I don't think I mentioned, but she has a drug problem as well. Unsurprising. She kind of just fits everything, right?
Yeah, but who even knows if that's true?
Right.
Anyway.
So they determine that they're going to dismiss her testimony altogether. That there's no credit to this woman.
Yeah.
So what evidence do they have that any of this happened? The only evidence that they have is that found in the hand of Michael Todor was 81 hairs that were a cross between gray and brown hair.
Okay.
And that could have been the hair of Jacob Dick. But Jacob's defense says, well, it could be, because back then didn't have DNA evidence, right? It could be Jacob's hair, because he does have brown and gray hair, but that could be anybody's hair. Right? The other thing is, they were drunk, sure, but Jacob Dick has one leg. It's going to be hard for him to hold someone down and hit them in the head with a hammer.
Right.
Yeah, they were both elderly. Jacob Dick was 65 and Michael Todor I think was 70 something, but that wouldn't make a big difference,
Right.
And sure, they were both drunk, but it wasn't, a solid thing, right? And also, Jacob Dick said he wasn't even around. He had just gotten out of prison the day before and he was in Regina, but he was nowhere close. And the defense said he was too far away to have made that distance with one leg to have been involved that night. The only person who knew what happened that night was Tootsie LaFleche, and she can't tell the truth. So the jury, the third jury, makes a conclusion. Jacob Dick is guilty.
Wow.
And he is sentenced to hang.
Wow.
So his defense appeals, right? And it comes to the judge. And the judge looks at it and says, the only evidence you have is a testimony of a woman you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
And 81 hairs that could be belonged to absolutely anybody.
Yeah.
If, there was some DNA evidence back then, maybe they could have determined it.
Right.
But 16 months had passed. Would the DNA still be on the hair strands? I don't know how that works.
Right.
And they wouldn't have thought about that back then either. And they said, the 16 months, somebody could have planted the hairs in the hand, right?
Absolutely.
That's not evidence to condemn someone to death.
Right.
So he reverses the charge and says, Jacob Dick, you're free to go.
Thank goodness. Even if he did do it, but still, that's bull.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Right? As for Tootsie, she is still found guilty of accessory to murder.
Yeah.
Because she was still there that day. Somebody locked the door. Somebody put the rigs on the door. Someone sprayed the insecticide. She knew about it because she used the house for those months afterwards.
Yeah.
So Tootsie's found guilty and sentenced for 5 years. Well, for life in the Kingston Penitentiary in Kingston, Ontario. But she has her sentence reduced down to 5 years because of her age and because of her, quote, uselessness of life, because she accomplished nothing her entire life. What a shame to have her locked away for the rest of her life in prison.
Oh my God.
So she gets out in 1955, and I've heard two reports. One was it happened a couple days later. Next one was that it happened a year later. Either way, she was hit by a car, a hit and run, and she was killed. Although she was found guilty of accessory to murder and was definitely involved in the murder, there was never anyone determined to be the murderer.
Yeah.
Because Michael Dick, the one-legged guy, was partially convicted. He was convicted, but it was reversed just because of some hair found at the scene. So it is kind of a cold case in the city, although Tootsie was charged with accessory to it.
Yeah.
What do you think happened that day?
Oh, well, it's bludgeoningly to the head, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
With a hammer. And they found the murder weapon. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there goes that one theory. I was just gonna say she smushed him when they were having sex, and they were like having some weird threesome with the one-legged man, and he was like holding onto his chest hairs while they were having sex, and then like he died and ripped the chest hairs out. Boom.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Some weird threesome.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's not that. I don't understand, like, if he's got somewhat of an alibi, I don't understand why there is no... It really didn't seem like they were considering her as a possible suspect at all, even though she's quite literally bonkers.
Yeah.
Not of her own fault,
Yeah.
but still, and a compulsive liar. I would say, I'd bet the house on that she did it.
Yeah.
And then she started seeing him, and then they had some rough sex, and she pulled some of his hair out, and it was so long ago that he didn't remember it, and then she planted it in the hand. Like,
She could have got it from a brush too.
that's also true.
Yeah. That's what I was going with it. But yeah, you're
Brush
right.
makes sense too.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, that she killed him.
Yeah.
And then just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And then maybe told Jacob Dick later, and that's why he moved out and she moved out later. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, I don't want to be in this house. And she's like, I'm going to come with you. I don't want to be here either.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened too.
It's so like, it's just the laziness of everybody. Like the police just locking the door, the neighbor not worrying about the neighbor, like their neighbor, the daughter waiting a year before she does anything about the letters not coming. Mm-hmm. The guy who smells death and doesn't investigate further, like, oh, don't go in that room. By the way, ignore that death smell. Like, he's dumb for not even, just so much. Everyone's dumb.
Yes.
Everyone in this story is stupid. The jury, the judge is the only intelligent person in this entire story you just told, Kenton.
Yeah. So imagine my surprise finding out about this story and being, oh, this is local crime, big story. It was like the trial of the decade.
Yeah.
And I never heard of it. Never
Wow.
heard of it.
Anyone from that story buried in the cemetery?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in that one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you adding that to your repertoire now?
Yeah.
That's
You
dope.
bet.
That's great.
Guess which one it is. We got Michael Tudor,
Yeah.
Tootsie LaFleche, and we got Jacob Dick.
Tootsie.
I wish it was Tootsie.
Oh,
I wish it was Tootsie.
that would have been great.
Oh, yeah. Man.
But you can still include that story. Like, yeah. Is it the legged man?
No, he's buried in Riverside Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
So it's a victim.
That's perfect, actually.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's such I want to include her on my Notable Women of Regina tour, but it's not her grave.
It's not her grave.
Yeah.
But you could do the next one.
Yeah, the true crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the murder mayhem, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. That's like highlight of the tour for sure.
Yeah,
Good job.
I had to reroute my entire path now.
That's so
that
funny. That's so great because like you probably were getting to the point where like, man, I'm running out of stories, like different kinds of stories for this cemetery. I'm trying to find more. And then you just find like a gem.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And like I was looking at people who were executed at the gallows and what they had done. It's like, okay, so we got one guy who killed a family of 3. That's a good one. We got this one who killed an officer. Oh, that's a good one. But this one, it was just a robbery gone wrong. Well, does it really need to be on my tour? Like it's
right.
So I found this one like, hey, we are gonna wipe the board and start this over.
Yeah,
we got a month.
That's great. It's great. Are you adding it to your video game?
I think I might. Yeah. His is weird because his grave is unmarked. I went out there. I'm like trying to find it. I'm like, of course it is. Of course it's unmarked, right? It's such an incredible story. Of course it doesn't have a headstone, right? Why would it, right? That make it too easy.
How do you figure out which one it is then?
Oh, so you look it up. Like there's a database on the website.
Yeah.
And you can find the name. Mm-hmm. And that was a whole other thing because on the podcast I listened to, they called him Todor, Todor.
Yeah.
And everywhere I found online calls him Todor, Todor. So when I was trying to find anything about him on newspaper.com or anything like that, I couldn't find anything. LaFleche is hard enough to spell, right? So I'm looking for an easy word here. I finally find it. It's Tudor. So once I type Michael Tudor into the database, it pops up. But they messed up the date of burial with his date of death. And they have him being buried in 1953 when he wasn't buried in 1955 when they finally found the body. And I'm like, that throws me for a huge loop because the name is wrong.
Right.
The year is wrong.
The year's wrong, so you'd be like, this is not the right thing.
The only way I verified it's the same person is because he's the same age.
Yeah.
And I found a newspaper headline that calls him Todor with a U.
Right.
79-year-old Michael Todor. My guess was 79-year-old Michael Todor. Same guy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Hey, look at that. You've like succeeded beyond other people.
Yeah.
Good job.
So that's why when I said his name, it's Todor, not Todor. But I think people still forever will call him Todor. And it could have been a translation thing because he's from Romania too.
Right.
But anyway.
Maybe they pronounced it that way though.
They could have pronounced it Todor. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I think what happened was, let's say Michael Todor comes back from Christmas and tells Tootsie, hey, I'm sick of you guys doing this in my house. I'm sick of you bootlegging alcohol. I'm sick of the guys you're bringing around here. Get out. And she either sicks someone else on him, maybe not Jacob Dick, or he goes to sleep, like the story goes, and she comes in.
Just loses
yeah, and takes the hammer and kills him. Yeah. And says, oh, shoot, I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen. And because I would think when they're talking to, now I'm thinking about this. So her story was she was playing cards with Michael. Michael went to bed. She went for a walk around into Jacob Dick. And then Jacob Dick and her went back to the house, woke up Michael Todor, and they drank and played cards or whatever. But let's say, go back in time, Michael goes to bed. Instead, Tootsie kills him. And then whenever Jacob Dick moves in, kind of just brings him into the whole story.
Right.
So I'm thinking she did it to him while he was sleeping.
Right.
Because he wanted her gone.
Right.
And she had a good thing going there. And then she stayed there as long as she could until the smell was too bad.
Yeah. Maybe he was kicking her out. And she was like, I don't know where to go. I got to kill you.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
He says, I'm like, I'm going to bed. I want you out of here by the morning.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm killing you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think what happened. But probably cross between the two. Yeah.
Something like that. It has to be something around like that.
What a crazy story.
Very crazy story.
And weird characters.
Weird characters.
And there's pictures of Tootsie online, and she is not a nice looking fellow. Fellow-S. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, thank you for tonight, Dylan.
Hey, thank you. Wonderful.
I hope you enjoyed this weird one.
Yeah, it was weird. That is one way to say it.
And a local crime.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We haven't had a local one in a long time. Well, thank you, Dylan. Thank you for everybody who subscribed to our Patreon and listened to this wild episode of Unsolved Canadian Mysteries. As always, my name is Kenton Young, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Dylan Furman. And this is Unsolved Canadian Mysteries.